Hi guys. Hi guys, Dylan Warner here, back at it again with another top 10 movie list. Today we're going to be discussing the top 10 movies of 2017. Number 10 on my list, Thor Ragnarok. Easily one of the best movies of this year, in my opinion, the best Thor movie. It's a good blend of action, humor, comedy, all that goodness. The villains in Thor Ragnarok were also really strong. Jeff Goldblum was a great actor, and he was really funny as the Grand Master. But, of course, he's nowhere near as good as Loki, who, in my opinion, is the best Marvel villain in the entire MCU. I don't think there's a single other villain. Even Thanos, 10 times worse. Loki is literally Jesus, more or less. In ninth place on our list, we have Coco. Made by Pixar. This is easily one of the greatest animated movies of all time, frankly. I think that in some ways it's actually better than Toy Story and Finding Nemo and Shrek, all of them together. It's the best animated movie quite possibly ever. I mean, I think the original Toy Story is still probably better, but I think it's definitely better than like Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, probably better than Inside Out, honestly, even though I really like that one too. I think that it's got a very unique style visually. The use of color impresses me a lot. The story isn't incredible, but I think the animation itself is great, and I think that more than makes up for it. In eighth place on our list, we have Star Wars: The Last Jedi. In my opinion, one of the greatest Star Wars films of all time. Definitely better than Return of the Jedi. I'd say better than The Force Awakens, better than any of the prequels. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I think the character development in it was great. The characters, they bring a new perspective on established Star Wars characters. They take it in a different direction than the expanded universe. I think generally it was a really well-made movie, genuinely. Definitely worse than Empire, but I'd say it's probably around the same level as A New Hope. I mean, Empire is the greatest movie ever, so, I mean, like, you know, you can't really compare them, but even then, I think it comes pretty close. Yeah, I love the side plot on Canto Bight. I think they really use that to develop the characters really well, and it kind of provides, you know, a break from the more boring part, you know, centered around the spaceships and Leia. I think that Rose was a great character and a great decision to add to the franchise. I think she's a great new character, and I can't wait to see where they take all these characters in Episode 9, which I'm sure will be even better. Baby Driver is, in my opinion, one of the greatest heist movies ever made. And I'm not joking, I'm being very serious, and I think a lot of people would agree with me that, I think a lot of people would argue, actually, that it was the best movie of this year. And I think that that argument has a fair point. Baby is a very interesting character. I think he's very well developed. He has interesting motivations and an interesting personality. His backstory is truly tragic. Kevin Spacey gives a great performance. I think he's a very believable actor, believable character, specifically. I think that in terms of heist movies, it's got a lot more depth than you'd expect in the genre. A lot of heist movies are just pure adrenaline and pure action. But this one actually brings something fresh, and it brings characters and brings story. So I think it's really subverting the genre, in a sense. Baby Driver, in addition to all the character development and all the previously mentioned things, I think another great thing about it is the music. I mean, I know this has been talked about a lot, but I think it's actually a very good use of music, much better than a lot of films. To be honest, it really adds a lot to the action sequences, which they're pretty well made, actually, because you see it from the perspective of Baby, and it really allows you to get into the mind of this character. Specifically, there's a scene at the start where they're robbing an armored truck, a postal truck, and you see that Baby sees a dead man, and he's truly distraught. And I think that the music too compounds this. It drives the action, it drives the plot, and I think it adds a lot to Baby's character. Logan, in my opinion, is one of the greatest superhero movies of all time because it shows another side of these characters that has been explored in the comics to some extent, but I don't think has ever been explored in such depth and in such a interesting and unique way in a movie before. It shows these superheroes battered and defeated, and I think that it's just a brilliant movie. And I think the fact that they used the same actors that they used in earlier movies in this movie, but they're a lot older, and they're a lot wiser. You can tell they've aged a lot, and they can play these older characters. I think that adds a lot to it. Sir Patrick Stewart gives a brilliant performance as Professor X, one of the best possibly ever. And I think that Hugh Jackman, great actor, great Wolverine, probably the greatest actor who's ever played Wolverine. He gives an astounding performance, and it's truly believable that this is what they're going through. Next on our list, we have Lady Bird, which, in my opinion, is one of the best films about adolescence ever made. It is truly a realistic, captivating, motivating image of adolescence, and I think that is truly believable. And I think that it captures a truly stunning and a truly motivating insight into adolescence. It's a very realistic portrayal of adolescence, and I think it's truly believable. It was written and directed by a woman, stars a woman, about a woman. I think that also is very important. Not very many movies are like that. I think that very few movies in this day and age star women as the lead character and are directed by women. I think that if you look at, like we were talking about before, superhero movies, Wonder Woman, but other than that, I can't think of many superhero movies that the lead character is a woman. Like, I can't name a single one other than Wonder Woman, or arguably Suicide Squad, but I mean, we don't talk about Suicide Squad. I think it's a great movie, and it definitely deserves to be on this list. At number 4 on our list, we have Wonder Woman. This, in my opinion, is quite possibly the greatest superhero movie of all time. Ever. Just ever. This movie is better than the first Avengers, better than the first Iron Man, better than everything combined. All of them. Every single superhero movie combined doesn't equal Wonder Woman. For one simple reason. It empowers women so much that I think that it's going to truly make a difference in our society. Just single-handedly. I mean, of course, I lied when I said it's better than all superhero movies. I mean, I guess The Dark Knight, you could argue about that. I'm not sure, but leave your opinions in the comments below, whether you think The Dark Knight or Wonder Woman is better. I'd love to hear them, because that's a debate, that I'm having personally. So if you can help contribute to that and help try and sway me, I'd really appreciate that. At number 3, we have Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's historical epic. I think, in my opinion, this could be the greatest World War II film. I think that this is better than Saving Private Ryan, better than all other World War II films combined. To be honest, Saving Private Ryan is a great film, but I think that the color and the art direction in this movie is incredible. I love it. I think that the camera shots, the sweeping shots are great. It conveys a sense of urgency and intensity that you don't find in a lot of movies these days. I think genuinely, in a sense, it stresses you out because you're not sure what's going to happen. It's very unpredictable in a good sort of way, and it does convey the desperation and the just pain and suffering these soldiers were going through in such a good way. It's very believable, and it's very authentic, if not accurate, to the experience they went through. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, in my opinion, is just a great movie. I think, I was talking about Thor Ragnarok earlier and how it blends comedy and action. Well, honestly, I think Guardians of the Galaxy was the original at this, and the sequel is even better. The soundtrack is brilliant. very recognizable instantly. Everyone remembers the songs. I think that's one thing that it does do better than Baby Driver, is the songs, the choice of songs, and the soundtrack is much better. I think that the characters, too, a lot of them are more interesting than the ones in Baby Driver. Star-Lord is just a great character, and so is Rocket Raccoon. Genuinely, I think that this is probably just one of the greatest action films of all time. And I think it definitely deserves its spot at number 2. Get Out is the best movie ever made. Best horror movie ever made. Best movie of any. Subscribe for more movies and film-related content. And have a good one.